Hello and welcome to Pog and Rock. This video is the next in my series ranking the tracks of Iron Maiden's studio albums. This is part 7, so it's 1988's Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. This was the point at which I actually got into Iron Maiden, and one of the tracks on this list will be the first thing that I ever consciously knew was an Iron Maiden song, and we'll come to that in due course. There are 8 tracks on the record. When I did my Iron Maiden album ranking back in 2021, quite early on in the life of this channel, I placed this as my favourite Maiden record, but is it? Is it still my favourite when I go through and I rank the tracks one by one? So number 8, I have placed, as would most people, The Prophecy. It's not a bad song. I think it's Harris and Dave Murray wrote it. It's got some interesting rhythmics in it. It's a 6/8 song that then switches tempo to I think 4/4. It's just sandwiched. On another Maiden album, this would be perhaps a highlight, but it's a decent song, if not stellar. I've given The Prophecy 6 out of 10. I still like it. It just doesn't match up to the rest. Number 7, I have placed, and I did not plan it this way, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son at number 7. This is the epic on the album. I saw this performed live during the Run for Your Lives tour, and that's probably why it's 7th on this list, because I found it a little bit boring live. The synth stuff and the haunting vocals goes on a little bit. That said, as a song, as a centerpiece of an album, it really does work, and I really like it. It's not as much as I used to like it, and it's an 8 out of 10. At number 6, the album closer. This is Only the Good Die Young, and I've placed this with exactly the same score of 8 out of 10. I like the way it ends the album. I think it's punchy. Up to this point, they had generally started to include the longest track on the album as the last track on the album. So think back to, we've got Hallowed Be Thy Name, To Tame a Land, Rime of the Ancient Mariner, and then finally we had Alexander the Great. They break the mold a little bit with this 7th album, and they place a fairly short 5-minute track. The epic is the start of side 2, but then this is a loose concept album. Only the Good Die Young. I don't know whether they've ever played this live. I don't think they have. Along with The Prophecy, I think it might be the track that hasn't ever been played live. Really enjoyable though, and I would quite like to hear Only the Good Die Young. If you know if it's been played live, please let me know in the comments. My number 6. At number 5, a hit single. So there were 4 top 10 hits off this, and this was the third of them. It's The Clairvoyant. Now the version that is listed in the charts is because it was the studio version, which is on this album, but also a live version from Donington. And so you kind of, depending on which version of the single you bought, you either got the studio or the live, but they're both really good. The Clairvoyant's got one of my favourite bass lines on it, that it's played right up at the top end of the neck, and it's just, again, played live on the Run for Your Lives tour. Really effective song. It's just, I'm probably a bit tired of The Clairvoyant, and again I think seeing it live, when I would have perhaps preferred to see other tracks from this album, might be why I've given it 9 out of 10. But it's a 9. 9 is a phenomenally good song, really, and it's halfway. So at this point, I would remind you to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and join the subscriber count. I am nudging towards 500, and when I get to 500, I'll be doing a live stream. To click the thumbs up to like the video and the bell to receive notifications of future content. Perhaps share this video with someone else who might like it, and maybe leave a comment about your rankings of this particular album. So halfway, and it's time to resume with position at number 4. And number 4, I placed the opening track of the album, Moonchild. So written by Bruce Dickinson, and this sets the scene. This is such a good song to set the scene of this really excellent concept album, in my opinion. One of my favourite concept albums. I may do a video on concept album, it will be in there. And this is the whole idea. It starts off with that 7 ways to win, 7 holy paths to hell, and your trip begins. And it's brought back to prove the concept. It is brought back at the end of Only the Good Die Young, just that little booklet. So you could, in theory, flip the record back over again to start all over again. A bit like The Wall by Pink Floyd. If you're not aware, The Wall ends with the words, isn't this where? And the wall starts on side 1 with We Came In. So it basically becomes a cycle. So I like the idea of them turning it cycle. It perhaps it fits with the idea that things are going to start repeating themselves, particularly where the prophecies and the 7th sons were involved. Score-wise, well, the Clairvoyant was 9, but the Moonchild is 10. So there is no there is no jeopardy on what I'm going to be scoring the next 3 songs, because they're all also going to be 10. So Moonchild's a 10. Number 3, the second single, The Evil That Men Do. This song, perhaps more than any of the other ones, is the one that perhaps feels most out of place with the concept. But it's such a banging tune. I absolutely love it. Great single. I think it was top 5, or maybe only got number 6. I'm not sure. It's a really good banging hit song. Proper top 10 hit. The Evil That Men Do. Of course, it's 10 out of 10. Number 2. Can I Play With Madness? Now, I've seen this described as the one that lets the album down by some, and I don't agree. This is totally woven into the concept of the 7th Son. It's just, but it is the closest you'll ever get to Iron Maiden doing pop, because it is practically a pop single. It's done in 3.5 minutes, and for me, that Can I Play With Madness a cappella vocal right at the start just means the song flies out the gates and doesn't stop till it gets to the very end. It's a refreshing listen to me. I know it's become overplayed. Number 3 hit, which at the time was their biggest hit single. Greater success in the charts was still to come, but not perhaps as deserved, let's say, as Can I Play With Madness. It deserved its place in the top 10. Which leaves as my number 1, Infinite Dreams. So this is the song that I alluded to right at the start as being my first thing where I was consciously aware of Iron Maiden. And I heard Infinite Dreams on Tommy Vance's rock show on a Friday night, and I was surprised that something this melodic and what's the word? Steady as Infinite Dreams came from Iron Maiden. What I didn't know is that I already did know a little bit of Iron Maiden, which was Phantom of the Opera and the riff as used on Daley Thompson's advert for Lucozade. But this was the first thing I was conscious was Iron Maiden. It caused me to investigate them ever so slightly, along with Phantom of the Opera. And as a result, it holds a very special place in my heart because it led me to Iron Maiden. And in particular, I think this is a special song. I am delighted it has returned to the live set as it has for the second leg of the Run For Your Lives tour, but I am deeply disappointed that I didn't get to hear it when I went last year in Birmingham, because I would have loved to have heard Infinite Dreams. It is a brilliant song. and a brilliant performance from every single member of the band. And possibly at this point, maybe it was the most atypical Iron Maiden song up to that point. They'd done slow stuff before, but this is kind of almost a ballad. Not quite. They will do one. You have to come back in 2 episodes' time in this series to find out which one I think is a ballad. But Infinite Dreams is just top drawer Iron Maiden for me. So, pretty hefty scores being given to the 8 songs here, which gives a total of 71. It is 1 mark lower than I gave for Power Slave, and it's the same number of tracks, and therefore it's coming in second place with 8.87, but it is tight. Power Slave was a straight 9. It got 72. Straight 9. And this is just behind it. They are both perfect records. It's just that perhaps Power Slave is a tad more perfect than Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Just for that difference between, I think it was Back in the Village I gave 7 to, and The Prophecy is a 6. That's all the difference between the two. Amazing, really. So that concludes my track by track ranking of Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. The next in the series will be the 10-track album, No Prayer for the Dying. You really should come back for that one, as I rank the 10 tracks of that record. But until then, I'd remind you to subscribe, like, hit the bell, share it with someone else, and thanks for watching.